There's a moment when life suddenly changes, and nothing feels stable anymore. It could be a loss, a betrayal, a dream slipping through your fingers, or the quiet realization that the future you planned no longer exists. You stand there, almost weightless, as if the floor has vanished beneath you. Your chest tightens, your thoughts scatter. You're not sure what to grab onto first. This is the first test, not of your plans, but of your presence. The Stoics remind us you cannot control the storm, but you can control the way you stand in it. Marcus Aurelius once wrote that if you are disturbed by something, it's not the thing itself that troubles you, but your judgment of it. That means your first breath, your first pause, matters more than anything else. In these moments, you are tempted to run, to react, to demand answers, but strength often begins with stillness. Imagine a tree in a sudden wind. Its survival doesn't depend on chasing the wind. It depends on sinking its roots deeper, and so do you, right now, before anything else. You breathe, not to escape the pain, but to anchor yourself in the one thing you can always choose, your response. I've learned that the times I felt most powerless were actually the moments I had the greatest chance to grow, but only if I didn't let panic make my decisions for me. And if you're here listening to these words, I believe you already sense it too. So as we walk through these Stoic strategies together, stay with me. Let's explore not how to avoid life's collapses, but how to stand unshaken when they arrive. And if this journey resonates with you, I invite you to join me here. Subscribe, so we can walk these paths of resilience together. Number 1, accepting the fall. Why resistance drains your strength. You feel it in your chest. That tight knot of no, this can't be happening. No, this isn't fair. No, I can't handle this. It's the most human reaction in the world. Something crumbles and your first instinct is to fight against the reality of it. You try to bargain with time, replay the moment before everything shifted, cling to the hope that maybe, if you resist hard enough, you can push the world back into place. But here's the truth the Stoics understood. Resistance doesn't stop the fall. It only exhausts you on the way down. Epictetus said, "Do not wish for events to happen as you want them to, but wish for them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go well." It's not a command to love every loss. It's an invitation to stop spending your strength on an impossible fight. I remember a season in my life when I fought reality so hard, it became my full-time job. I woke up each day rehearsing what should have been. It left me drained before I even started living. Accepting what had already happened didn't mean I agreed with it. It meant I was free to actually move forward. Think of a swimmer caught in a strong current. The more they thrash against it, the more the water steals their breath. But if they turn with the current, if they let themselves move with it, they can find a way to the shore. Life's currents work the same way, so you pause. You loosen your grip on the picture of how it should have gone. You whisper to yourself, "This is what is. I will meet it as it is." And in that moment, you feel something unexpected. The ground may still be shaking, but your inner footing grows steadier, because acceptance is not surrender. It is reclaiming the energy you once wasted on wishing the past was different and using it to shape the future that's still in your hands. Number 2, anchoring yourself in what cannot be taken away. There's a strange truth you discover when everything seems to fall apart. Not everything actually falls. Some things remain unshaken, untouched, waiting for you to notice them again. When life feels like it's collapsing, your mind wants to grab at what's slipping away. The job, the relationship, the plan you thought was secure. You reach for them like trying to catch sand pouring through your fingers. But the Stoics teach us, your real strength doesn't come from what can be taken. It comes from what cannot. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." That's not a comforting slogan. It's a lifeline, because in the chaos, you still own your judgment, your choices, your integrity, your ability to act with courage, even when the ground feels unsteady. I think back to a time in my own life when I lost something I thought I could never live without. I felt hollow, like someone had pulled the center out of me. But then, slowly, I noticed my values were still here. My character was still here. My will to stand up again was still here. And suddenly I realized they couldn't take that. It's like being in the middle of a violent storm at sea. You can't control the waves, you can't command the wind, but deep beneath the surface, the ocean is calm, still, unmoved. That stillness, that depth, is inside you too. So you ask yourself, if I strip away everything I can lose, what's left of me? And you may be surprised by the answer, because what's left is not small or fragile. It's the unshakable part of you that life's chaos can't touch. And when you anchor yourself there, in your principles, your choices, your inner calm, the storm may rage, but it can't carry you away. Number 3, seeing hardship as a sculptor, not a destroyer. At first, hardship feels like a blow. A strike meant to break you, to fracture everything you've built. You flinch. You resist. You wonder why life has chosen you as its target. But if you look closer, through the sting, through the noise, you might notice something else. Hardship doesn't just break, it shapes. The same way a sculptor's chisel strikes marble, sharp, deliberate, unrelenting, not to destroy it, but to reveal what could never be seen without the cut. Seneca once said, "Fire tests gold, and adversity tests the brave." He didn't mean suffering is something you should chase, but that when it finds you, you can choose to let it refine you instead of reduce you. I remember a chapter in my life when it felt like everything was being chipped away. My comfort, my confidence, my plans. Every day felt like a fresh strike, and I hated it. But years later, looking back, I see that those blows didn't erase me. They carved away the pieces that no longer belonged. They revealed a sharper, truer version of myself I couldn't have uncovered any other way. Picture a piece of raw stone lying untouched for centuries. It's whole, but it's shapeless. Only through pressure, through breaking away, can its hidden form emerge. And the sculptor's hands, that's life itself, carving, shaping, refining. So you pause in the middle of your own chisel strikes and you ask, is this breaking me, or is this revealing me? Because if you choose to see hardship as a sculptor, every strike becomes part of the art. And maybe, just maybe, one day you'll look back and realize the blows you feared most were the ones that shaped the strongest parts of you. Number 4, separating the event from the story you tell yourself. Something happens, it's over in seconds, or maybe minutes. But the story you tell about it, that can last for years. The Stoics understood this with crystal clarity. The event itself is one thing. The meaning you attach to it is another. Epictetus taught that it's not things themselves that disturb us, but the opinions we hold about them. And this is where so much unnecessary suffering lives. Not in the reality, but in the narrative we spin around it. I've done this myself. Something painful happened, and instead of letting it remain as just an event, I dressed it in layers of interpretation. This means I'm not enough. This means I'll never recover. This means life is unfair. Each sentence, another chain around my own neck. But here's the truth. The facts are often far lighter than the stories we attach to them. A door closed, a person left, a project failed. Those are facts. Everything else, the judgment, the meaning, the label of disaster or ruin, comes from you. It's like seeing a single dark cloud in the sky and deciding it means the whole day will be a storm. The cloud is real, but the forecast, that's at the creation of your mind. When you begin to separate the event from the story, you create space. Space to breathe, space to see what actually happened without drowning in the meaning you've piled on top. And in that space, strength grows. So you ask yourself, if I strip away my opinion, what's left? And maybe you'll find that the bare event, while still real, is far less terrifying than the tale you've been telling. And that realization that you can choose the story is where you start to write a version of it that empowers you instead of burying you. Number 5, turning loss into a teacher instead of an enemy. Loss has a way of hollowing you out. At first, it feels like something has been taken from you, a piece of your life, torn away. And in that empty space, there's silence, a heavy, owing silence that seems to follow you everywhere. The first instinct to fight it, to curse it, to see loss as an enemy, something cruel and senseless. But if you stay there, if you only see it as a thief, you miss what else it can be. The Stoics remind us every experience can be a teacher if you're willing to listen. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the obstacle becomes the way, and loss, as brutal as it feels, can hold lessons that no comfort could ever offer. I think back to a time when I lost someone I thought I couldn't live without. For months, I saw nothing but the absence, the chair they no longer sat in, the conversations that would never happen. But slowly, painfully, I began to notice something else. That loss had forced me to see what truly mattered. It stripped away the noise. It made me cherish moments I would have otherwise rushed past. Loss teaches you impermanence. It reminds you that nothing here is fully yours to keep. Not people, not possessions, not even the version of yourself you are today. And strangely, that truth, while heavy, can also be freeing. It's like the trees in autumn releasing their leaves. They don't fight the fall. They don't beg the branches to stay full. They let go, knowing that the emptiness will one day make room for new growth. So you ask yourself, what is this loss trying to teach me? And in time, you may find that while the ache never disappears completely, it softens, it transforms, it leaves behind a quiet wisdom, the kind you can carry into every season that follows. Number 6, building an inner fortress through daily discipline. Strength is not built in the moment you need it most. It's built quietly, in the small, ordinary days, long before the storm arrives. When life collapses, you don't rise to the occasion. You fall to the level of your preparation. And this is why the Stoics placed so much value on daily discipline. Epictetus trained his students to practice in peace what they would need in chaos. Not for show, not for praise, but so that when the world shook, their foundation did not. An inner fortress isn't made of stone walls or locked gates. It's made of habits. The way you speak to yourself in the morning, the way you return to your breath when your thoughts start to spiral, the way you keep promises to yourself, even when no one is watching. I've learned this in my own life. The mornings when I chose to sit in silence instead of scrolling, the nights I wrote down 3 things I was grateful for, even on days that felt like a loss. The moments I practiced patience in traffic, knowing that if I couldn't stay calm there, how could I expect to stay calm when life truly tested me? Think of a fortress on a hill. Every stone is placed long before the enemy appears. Day after day, the builders show up, placing one more block, one more defense. They don't wait for danger to begin. They prepare so that danger finds them ready. So you ask yourself, what am I building when no one is watching? Because those unseen choices, they become your walls. And when the storm comes, as it always will, those walls will not keep pain out, but they will keep you standing. Your discipline becomes your shelter. Your shelter becomes your strength. Number 7, choosing virtue over comfort when the world feels harsh, when life feels heavy, when everything inside you wants to retreat, hide, and take the easiest path. That's when the real test appears. Comfort whispers to you. It says, stay here, don't push, don't risk, don't feel too much. And for a moment, it feels tempting, because when the world is harsh, Comfort feels like the safest place to be. But the Stoics remind us the measure of a person is not how they act when life is gentle, but how they act when it's not. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the good person is like the emerald. No matter what is thrown at it, it keeps its color, its shine, its nature. Virtue is that unchanging color. Virtue is choosing honesty when a lie would be easier. It's acting with courage when more fear would be more comfortable. It's offering kindness when bitterness feels justified. I've faced this crossroads before. I remember moments when I could have cut corners, when I could have put my own comfort ahead of what was right. And I'll be honest, sometimes in my mind, I argued for the easier road. But every time I chose virtue instead, something inside me grew. It wasn't louder or more visible, but it was stronger. It's like a tree growing in harsh winter winds. It doesn't curl into itself to survive. It roots deeper. It stretches toward the light that is barely there. And over time, it becomes unshakable, not in spite of the harshness, but because of it. So you ask yourself, in this moment, will I choose the easier path, or the one that leaves me proud when I look back? Because comfort fades quickly, but virtue stays. It becomes part of you. And when everything else falls apart, that part is worth keeping. Number 8, walking forward without needing the road to be clear. There comes a point when you've done all the thinking, all the planning, all the waiting, and yet the path ahead still feels foggy. You want certainty. You want the map, the signs, the guarantee that every step will take you somewhere safe. But life doesn't work that way. It never has. The Stoics knew this. They lived with uncertainty every day, yet they moved forward anyway. Seneca wrote that we suffer more in imagination than in reality, and so often it's our need for the road to be clear that keeps us from taking the first step. I've been there, standing in front of a decision, frozen, waiting for the perfect moment. But here's what I learned. There is no perfect moment. The clarity you're waiting for, it doesn't come before the step. It comes because of the step. It's like walking through a dense fog. At the start, you can only see a few feet ahead. But the moment you take a step forward, the path reveals just enough more for you to keep going. That's all you ever really get, enough for one more step. And maybe that's enough. When everything has fallen apart, your instinct might be to stand still until you can see the whole way forward. But strength is trusting yourself to move even when you can't. Strength is knowing you can adapt when the ground changes under your feet. So you ask yourself, what's the next step I can take, even without knowing the whole journey? And you take it, not because you're fearless, but because you've learned that progress doesn't require the whole road to be clear, only the courage to keep walking through the mist. And in time, the fog always lifts. When the dust finally settles, you might expect to feel triumphant, but more often, you just feel quiet. Not because nothing happened, but because you've been changed in a way words can't fully hold. True strength rarely arrives with fanfare. It's not the roar of victory. It's the steady heartbeat that kept you alive through the storm. It's the way you breathe now, deeper, slower, more certain. It's the way you carry yourself, not heavier, but somehow lighter, because you've put down the weight of fighting what you cannot change. Marcus Aurelius wrote that the soul becomes dyed with the color of its thoughts. And after walking through loss, change, and hardship, you notice your thoughts are calmer now. They don't sprint to panic as quickly. They don't cling to certainty as desperately. You've learned to trust the ground beneath you, even when it moves. I've felt this after my own storms. People around me didn't always notice the difference right away. But inside, I knew. I had stopped looking for the world to give me peace. I had learned to carry it with me. It's like a lantern you light inside yourself. No matter where you go, dark valley or bright day, you bring it along. And because of it, you see differently. So as you step into your next chapter, you don't rush. You don't need the applause. You don't even need to prove how strong you are. You simply walk, steady, deliberate, knowing that whatever comes, you've faced worse. And you are still here. Strength is quiet, peace is portable, and both now belong to you.